Since the deaths began, various incidents have raised questions about the integrity and competence of Jeff Davis law enforcement. A truck bought from an inmate in jail and missing money from the evidence room. KPLC's Teresa Schmidt talked with the sheriff about it.
As months turned into years and the number of victims grew, citizens have raised questions about both the integrity and competence of local law enforcement.
I don't know what's the problem. I don't know who is really doing this, and we is scared for our life. The whole community is scared.
But if there's distrust of Jeff Davis law enforcement, it's at least in part brought on by the alleged conduct of some officers. Former Chief Criminal Investigator Warren Gary found himself under investigation after he bought a truck from jail inmate Connie Seiler and later sold it for a profit. Some believe that truck may have had a connection to the death of one of the women.
We were told that it was used to transport one of the bodies to one of the drop-off spots.
It was a nice truck. That was the truck that Connie and Christian and Tracy was in when they left my motel room right before Christian went missing.
What, if anything, do you know about that truck that Connie Seiler sold?
I don't know nothing about the truck. All I know is that it's that it was sold to a detective.
You know anything about anybody's body being put in it or anything like that?
No, I don't.
State police investigated and no criminal charges were filed against Gary. However, he was fined $10,000 by the State Ethics Board.
We didn't know about the truck. He didn't know about the truck being involved in anything until another person came forward and mentioned it. The Ethics Board, a complaint was filed with the Ethics Board, and Warren was brought before the Ethics Board, and he was fined, I believe, the max $10,000.
It's a slap on the hand when you're talking about messing with evidence in a murder case, and he's still an officer on the Sheriff's Department.
I think at the time, with the information that we had, the truck was very important to this case. The person that said that recanted her story, so I'm not exactly sure how important that truck is. Nevertheless, the investigation was done. Warren was disciplined by the Ethics Board to the maximum that could be done, and he was taken off the case.
Still, the issue remains for family members of some victims who worry evidence may have literally been washed away.
It's very suspicious that it was sold, washed, and sold. I mean, was there a cover-up or not? We don't know.
There's tons of speculation out there. I have to believe in the state police. They did a thorough job with the forensics teams out of Calcasieu, totally independent, so that we would not be involved in that whatsoever.
So if it had been washed, you think they still would have found forensic evidence if there was forensic evidence to be found? Is that what you're saying?
I would think that there's forensic evidence found even after vehicles are washed. It happens all the time.
What does Warren Gary do now?
Warren is in charge of evidence at this time.
Another case arousing public suspicion when $3,700 disappears from evidence. Evidence related to a burglary investigation of Frankie Richard. Detective Paula Guillory is ultimately fired.
I think that it blew a burglary case. I don't think it had any effect on the homicide case.
And then there's the sewage backup in the evidence room.
I don't know that we lost anything that was the only way we could have solved a case. That did not happen.
You see people that we know as suspects. You see people go in and out of jail numerous times and never held, get cleared of evidence being tampered with by people in the Sheriff's Department, releases, suspects. You see recanted stories that releases suspects. There's no public confidence. When you go around town and you ask the people around here, they have no confidence in the task force or the Sheriff's Department.
The sheriff says participation of numerous independent agencies assures there are no cover-ups or conflicts of interest.
A lot of people want to say cover-up and all of this. I have never, nor will I ever, as I don't believe any sheriff in this state would cover up any wrongdoing in our offices. None of us are above the law, nor do we want to be.
Paula Guillory and Warren Gary had no comment for our story.
And Teresa, understand there are other questions surrounding the investigation.
Cynthia, there are questions about cover-ups, the role of the FBI in the investigation, and if members of law enforcement are somehow connected to the killings. 7 News asked Sheriff Ricky Edwards those questions, and you'll hear his answers next.